Hi there! In today's video I'm going to be creating a complete techno track using sounds from the Sonic Potions Erica Synths LXR-02 drum machine only. So that's quite a mouthful. This is a small hardware machine, a desktop model with 6 digital drum voices, but I'm not going to be using it for just the drums. No, I'm also going to make synthesizer riffs, drones, noises, etc. with it. So the point of this video, I guess, is to find out whether this little machine can actually deliver all those sounds to create a hopefully good sounding techno track. So without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so here we have the LXR-02, a very neat little box. 6 voices, which you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th one, basically 6 and 7, they are one voice but controlled by 2 tracks. So if I load up a kit here, let's go for this one, Rotterdam, my home city. That should be a good start. I go to performance page here, and these are the sounds. Aggressive kick, another kick, a nice acidy squelch here, snare or clap, basically a clap. An open hi-hat of cymbal of sorts, and these 2 shorter hi-hat-like sounds which can be played alternately but not together. So that's a good starting point, and what I'll do is I'll create a pattern with this, just go through some of the functions here. I'm not an expert on this machine because I only recently got it, but it's actually pretty easy to make something with this. So if I go to voice, the first track is selected, the kick. I'm just going to put in the 4 to the floor pattern and press play. And there we go. If I go to the second one here, the other kick, make this into a bass line. Let's filter that down a little bit, the low pass filter here. It's actually filtering the noise, doesn't seem to be filtering the bass sound. Back to the kick and also change the pitch a little bit with the coarse tuning here. Actually, I think it was fine as it is. Something like this, maybe the coarse tuning of the other one here, the bass. I can actually play different notes by doing a parameter locking automation of the pitch, but I'm not going to do that here. This is fine. And now the second sound, third sound here. Acidy squelch. Actually, let's do something fun here. Let's change the length of the pattern. So, last step, 15. And as you can hear now, it's playing 15 steps, which means that this note that is playing every third is actually continuing shifting relative to the 4 to the floor beat here. Play with the filter here. Give it that really like nice acid sort of sound. Okay, let's move on to the next track here, number 4. I'll change this a little bit as well. So oscillator section here, it's actually a mix between, let's solo this a little bit, between a synth sound and noise. The noise can be tuned. There's lots to play here, the envelope of course. So this is a clap thing with repeats. Let's get rid of the repeats. And then there's the filter. Can go to a band pass. And there's an LFO. Let's assign that to the filter frequency. And then you can hear it changing the filter frequency. Okay, that's cool. Next up, nice hi-hat sounds. Maybe tweak the filter a little bit. It's using a band pass. I could change it to a high pass. With some resonance. There's also a drive control here. There's drive on the filter, but also in the mix. So lots of options to shape the sound. It's pretty good. And then finally we have this last track. 2 tracks with 1 voice. This one. So what I can do is maybe have alternating open and closed voices here. So this one put it here and this one here. I think that's about right. So I'm not going to get very deep into the synth engine, but I think this one has a very interesting thing going here. Yeah, with all these different FM parameters. Really cool for all those metallic cymbal sounds. Yeah. Yeah, and then the envelopes are different for these two, I guess. So, shorter and longer decay. You can have different decays, but everything else is the same. I think this sounds pretty good. Okay, so that's a nice loop that I have going here. What I'll do next is I'll record the parts into live separately, so everything gets its own track, and then I'll come back and create a bunch more sounds. So I'm just going to go away and do that, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I've recorded in the parts. Let's do a little bit of sound design now. So first, I would like to get something going that's kind of noisy sounding, some sort of noisy rhythm. So for that, what shall I use? Probably the hi-hats, because it has this very interesting synth voice thing going on. So let's put a step on every first beat, on every quarter note. And let's start messing around with this. So lower attack and decay, for instance. And all these interesting FM parameters. So there's noise in the oscillator section here. Let's try a band pass. Ooh. Band pass, this one. Okay, so we have that. Let's record that later on. And now the hardest part, let's try and create some sort of a drone sound, some sort of a long droning sound. I think the first 3 synth voices, which are basically identical and have the most options synthesis wise, are probably best for this. But what if I put just one step here? That's a kick drum, but let's manipulate that. So envelope. Now if you want a drone, of course it needs a very long decay, maybe also a long attack time, and maybe a different sign, a different waveform. Then let's not use that. Soul wave. Let's do some sort of FM stuff. Yeah. Pretty interesting sound. We get some cool timbres here. So quite some modulation options. There's some stuff going on here. Yeah. Lots of tweaking here. I will find something interesting, I promised. Maybe a triangle wave. Yeah, this is cool. Okay, let's try some more percussion here. Let's go back to what this thing is good at. Again, let's go for some FM stuff. Just a bunch more stuff to record and play with later. Maybe do something with the snare. Let's get rid of the LFO. Yeah, let's make a shaker sound. Okay, so that's a bunch more sounds. I'm going to record these in as well. Then I will create an arrangement, do some effects and stuff. And when I have everything in place, I will be back here and show you exactly what I have done to create a full track. See you in a bit. Okay, so what I've done here is I've adjusted the timing of the clips that I recorded. I've added some effects where necessary, and I created an on-the-fly arrangement using my trusted Akai APC-40 Mark II controller. And the end result, you could say, is a rough version of a track, a draft, but it is a complete piece of music with a start, a middle and an end. So in my book that counts as a complete track. So now I'll do a playthrough, and while it's playing, I'll talk you through a little bit of the things that I've been doing to create this track. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of curious to find out whether this actually sounds any good. So let's hit play. Okay, so we're starting simply with the kick, the sub bass, which I've grouped together here, and the noise that I recorded. I did some sidechaining on the noise with LFO tool. It was already sort of sidechained by reversing it, and so that's what we're hearing here. And now two things are happening. The drone is fading in, and this snare part where I've done some automation. So first, the drone, I've added the Valhalla shimmer, which actually adds a fifth, an interval to it, and I've done some EQing because it was a little bit too much of low end, fighting with the acid sound here. And then there's a snare sound with filtering, with automation of effects, the resonance and the volume here. And then the acid sound, this was recorded. It was all recorded in real time, and basically I was playing the filter on the LXR-02 while recording this. And then there's some automation again of volume and synth effects. So you hear that coming in slowly. Show the volume automation here. Fading in. I did a little breakdown here. We already passed it, but I'll show you the high pass filter on the kick sub channel. And then in the drop we get this shaker sound and the hi-hat sound. Both of which are a bit loud, I guess, but okay. So now we have most of the sounds going. Only the open hi-hat is yet to come in. Before that happens, I've made a bit of a longer breakdown here, where the kick and the sub bass drop out altogether. And again, with some automation on the delay here, I used an echo effect in live. And for the reverb, I used the regular reverb. I tend to use the Valhalla room. This time I just used the regular reverb. Yes, I forgot to put in Valhalla room here, which is my favorite. So now after this drop, in the drop here, we get the open hi-hat sound as well. And a little mini break here. This just continues on. Actually, I guess I'll extend this. So, like I said before, I recorded this arrangement live with the APC-40 controller, but I definitely did some editing afterwards because it was a little bit messy. So where you can see the dotted automation lines, that's actually recorded with the controller, and then these straight lines here, for instance, that's with the mouse later on. Okay, so the open hi-hat stopped, replaced by the shaker sound. I'm gonna go into another breakdown here. Again, I did some cleaning up of the automation. Basically the auto filter turning on and off, giving a typical DJ style high pass filter. effect, which worked really well in breakdowns. So there's 8 bars of that, and then get going again with the open hi-hat. And all the while, there's still some movement on the acid synth here. Of course, you cannot see the filter movements I played because I recorded those in audio. Those were done on the machine itself. But yeah, you can hear that there's actually some movement of the filter going on. Then we come up to this point here. I cut away some of the clips here because I sort of lost track of the timing and everything was extended by 2 bars. So that's one of the things that you would edit afterwards, after recording a live arrangement. It can get messy, it can get sloppy. Sometimes it's nice to keep that for a live feel. In this case, I thought it didn't really work that well. Anyway, last big breakdown. And continuing on with all the hi-hat and cymbal sounds. Although the open hi-hat is going to stop in a little bit. Just here. And now as you can hear, that really takes out some of the energy and things are winding down. Next up is the closed hi-hat, the 16th note pattern, which is going to be fading out. And then after another 8 bars, the shaker sound is going to stop. Furthermore, the drone is going to fade out at the last minute. And I also turned down the cutoff on the acid here. And that's basically the track. So there you have it, a complete techno track made with sounds from only one machine, the Sonic Potions Erica Synths LXR-02 drum machine. The name really is too long, but anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this track and this video. If you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel to see more of this kind of content. I have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, it's gonna be great. But in any case, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.